Aston Martin Vantage. The Aston Martin Vantage is one of those cars that does not simply roll off a production line and blend into the traffic. It arrives with presence, character, and heritage that few vehicles in the world can match. It is not just another sports car, and it is certainly not the kind of machine that is designed to fade into obscurity. The Vantage, through decades of evolution, has come to represent the purest form of Aston Martin's promise to deliver power, beauty, and soul. Every time you see one on the road, its muscular stance and unmistakable proportions announce with absolute certainty that this is a car built not just to be driven, but to be felt, admired, and remembered. The Aston Martin Vantage is not merely an object of engineering, it is an emotional statement, a rolling sculpture, and yet at the same time, a tool of precision designed to bring together luxury and ferocity in a single, tightly crafted package. When Aston Martin first conceived the idea of the Vantage, the goal was never simply to make an entry-level model. While it is often described as the gateway into Aston Martin ownership, that description undersells its importance. The Vantage has always been about bringing Aston Martin's most exciting, most dynamic, and most aggressive character to the surface. It was meant to be the sports car of the family, the one that pushed the brand into the territory where driving pleasure, agility, and outright performance mattered just as much as design elegance and craftsmanship. Unlike its bigger siblings such as the DB11 or the DBS Superleggera, which lean toward grand touring refinement, the Vantage has always carried the spirit of a compact powerhouse, something that communicates with the driver in the most direct and thrilling way possible. Look at the way the current generation Vantage sits on the road, low, wide, and menacingly purposeful. Its proportions are deliberately athletic, with a wide track and muscular haunches that communicate strength and agility. The nose dips low to the ground with that bold grille design, a reinterpretation of Aston Martin's traditional face but sharpened for the modern era. Its headlights, slim and aggressive, cut into the bodywork with an almost predatory focus. The clamshell bonnet, a hallmark of Aston Martin's design, not only adds visual drama but also speaks of precision engineering. The side profile reveals the flowing lines, the sculpted doors, and the compact stance that tells you immediately this is a car designed to grip, to turn, and to respond to every subtle movement of the driver. Around the back, the distinctive tail light signature sweeps across the width of the car in a single bold line, while the diffuser and exhaust pipes remind you that this is not just an object of beauty, but of raw mechanical intent. Beneath that sleek body, the Vantage carries a heart that beats with passion and engineering brilliance. The engine, sourced from a partnership with Mercedes-AMG, is a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 that produces immense power. This unit is not only efficient and modern but also tuned to deliver the unique Aston Martin character. It growls, it roars, it sings in a way that is unmistakably emotional. With over 500 horsepower at its disposal, the Vantage surges forward with breathtaking force. 0 to 60 miles per hour comes in just a matter of seconds, and yet the speed is not the only story here. The real beauty of this machine is the way it delivers that power. It is sharp, immediate, and engaging, yet never overwhelming. The balance between aggression and control is what makes it a true driver's car. Aston Martin has engineered it to be alive, to communicate through the steering, the pedals, and the seat. Every corner becomes an event, every straight an opportunity, and every drive an unforgettable experience. Of course, the engine is just the start. The chassis of the Vantage is equally a masterpiece. It is built on Aston Martin's bonded aluminum architecture, which provides both strength and lightness. This gives the Vantage incredible rigidity for sharp handling, while also keeping the weight down for agility and performance. The suspension is tuned with precision, offering adaptive damping that can transform the car's personality at the touch of a button. In its softer settings, the Vantage can glide with surprising comfort, making long journeys possible without fatigue. But switch it into its sportier modes, and the car tightens up, becoming razor-sharp and intensely connected to the road. The steering is quick and beautifully weighted, offering a level of feedback that allows the driver to place the car with total confidence. The rear-wheel drive layout ensures that the car dances with balance, offering thrills when pushed hard but always within the grasp of control for those who know how to respect it. The gearbox in the Vantage adds to this sense of connection. An 8-speed automatic transmission, built by ZF, delivers shifts that are both lightning fast and buttery smooth. In automatic mode, it behaves with grace, seamlessly transitioning through the gears. But when you take control with the paddles behind the steering wheel, the Vantage becomes something else entirely. Each shift comes with immediacy, each downshift accompanied by a thunderous crack from the exhaust. It's an orchestra of performance, a symphony conducted by the driver's fingertips. The car rewards those who take the time to engage with it fully, but at the same time, it never punishes those who simply want to enjoy the beauty of the drive. Step inside the Vantage, and you are greeted with a cabin that strikes a perfect balance between luxury and performance. This is not an interior that overwhelms with excessive technology or distracts with gimmicks. Instead, it focuses on quality, craftsmanship, and driver-centric design. The seats are sculpted to hold you in place during spirited driving, yet remain comfortable enough for long hours behind the wheel. The materials are hand-finished, with fine leather, alcantara, and brushed metals that create a sense of bespoke craftsmanship. Every surface feels considered, every detail executed with precision. The driving position is low and focused, with the controls angled toward the driver, reinforcing the sense that this car is built around you, not just for you. The infotainment system, borrowed from Mercedes-Benz, provides all the modern connectivity one could need: navigation, smartphone integration, audio control, but it never takes center stage. Aston Martin deliberately ensures that the technology serves the driving, not the other way around. The sound system, when you choose to listen to music instead of the car's own exhaust note, delivers rich, immersive audio. Yet, for many, the greatest soundtrack remains the one produced by the twin-turbo V8 under the bonnet. The Aston Martin Vantage is not only about performance and luxury, it is about heritage and identity. It is part of a lineage that stretches back decades, a lineage filled with iconic models that have carried the Vantage name. Each generation has pushed the boundaries of what Aston Martin could achieve, and each has played its role in cementing the brand's reputation as a builder of some of the most desirable cars in the world. From the early V8 Vantages of the 1970s, which were dubbed Britain's first supercars, to the more recent iterations that redefined sports car design, the Vantage has always stood for excitement and passion. It has been the car that enthusiasts look to when they want to see Aston Martin at its most dynamic. The Vantage has also carried with it the aura of exclusivity. Unlike some sports cars that flood the roads, Aston Martin builds its cars in limited numbers. Each Vantage feels special, feels unique. It is a car that announces that its owner values not just performance, but individuality and style. It is not the obvious choice, it is the choice of someone who understands and appreciates the artistry behind driving. It is this blend of rarity, beauty, and excitement that makes the Vantage stand apart even in a world crowded with high-performance machines. The Vantage is also a reminder of Aston Martin's resilience as a brand. Over the years, Aston Martin has faced its share of challenges, from financial struggles to the pressures of competing against larger and better-funded manufacturers. And yet, through it all, the Vantage has remained a constant symbol of the company's spirit. It represents Aston Martin's refusal to compromise, its determination to build cars that stir the soul. Each Vantage that rolls out of the factory in Gaydon is not just a car, it is a statement that Aston Martin remains committed to its vision, to its heritage, and to its future. And speaking of the future, the Vantage is also a car that is evolving with the times. While its current generation is defined by the thunderous V8, Aston Martin is also exploring electrification and hybrid technologies for the years ahead. The challenge for Aston Martin is to ensure that the soul of the Vantage, the sound, the feel, the connection, remains intact even as the automotive world shifts to new forms of power. It is a delicate balance, but if there is one thing Aston Martin has proven time and again, it is that it knows how to create cars that stir emotions. Whether powered by petrol, hybrid, or electric motors, the Vantage name will continue to stand for excitement, exclusivity, and elegance. In every sense, the Aston Martin Vantage is a car that embodies the best of what a modern sports car can be. It is fast, thrilling, and precise, yet also beautiful, luxurious, and soulful. It is a car that makes no apologies for being emotional in a world that is becoming increasingly rational. In an era where many cars are designed by algorithms and built for efficiency above all else, the Vantage is a reminder that driving can still be an art form, a passion, a love affair between human and machine. It is the kind of car that will be remembered long after the traffic has passed, long after the drive has ended, and long after the engine has gone quiet. And this is what makes the Aston Martin Vantage so special. It is not just about the numbers, though they are impressive. It is not just about the looks, though they are breathtaking. It is about the way it makes you feel, the way it connects you to the road, and the way it turns every drive into an event. The Vantage is Aston Martin distilled to its purest essence, a car that speaks directly to the heart, and a car that reminds us why we fell in love with driving in the first place. The Aston Martin Vantage also carries with it a personality that seems almost human in its character. It is elegant when you want it to be, restrained in moments where grace matters more than aggression, yet with the push of a pedal it transforms into something visceral, something primal. This duality is what makes it so fascinating, because very few cars in the world are able to merge two such extremes so seamlessly. On one hand, you can arrive at a luxurious event in the Vantage, stepping out with the confidence that you've come in a car of unmatched beauty and heritage, a car that reflects taste and refinement. On the other, you can take the same car to a winding mountain road the next day, push it hard through hairpins and straights, and experience the thrill of a performance machine bred for speed. That adaptability, that ability to wear multiple faces without losing its core identity, is something uniquely Aston Martin, and nowhere is it more evident than in the Vantage. The Vantage has never been about being the loudest or the most ostentatious sports car in the room. Instead, it speaks in a language of subtle confidence. It does not scream for attention, it earns it. It doesn't try to overpower with size or excess but rather seduces with proportions and balance. This is the hallmark of great design. The people who know, know. Those who see a Vantage pass by on the street often find themselves captivated, not just by its beauty but by its presence. It has an aura, the kind of aura that only comes from a combination of heritage, craftsmanship, and performance. And it is this aura that makes the Vantage something more than just a machine, it makes it a symbol. When you trace the roots of the Vantage back through history, you begin to understand why it has become such a celebrated nameplate. The first Vantage models were performance-oriented versions of Aston Martin's existing lineup, essentially taking already impressive cars and giving them an edge, a sharper personality. Over the years, however, the Vantage grew into a distinct identity of its own, one that could stand proudly as the most sporting model in Aston Martin's stable. In the 1970s, the V8 Vantage emerged as one of the most powerful and fastest cars of its time, earning the reputation as Britain's first true supercar. This was not just a car, it was a statement that Aston Martin could go head-to-head with the best in the world, from Ferrari to Lamborghini, and do so with its own uniquely British flavor of elegance and aggression. The modern Vantage continues this tradition, but with the benefit of cutting-edge technology and design. It is sharper, faster, and more sophisticated than any Vantage before it, yet it never forgets its heritage. You can see the echoes of the past in its design language, the way the proportions pay homage to earlier generations while still looking distinctly modern. You can feel the legacy in the way the car handles, how it prioritizes driver engagement above all else. And you can hear the soul of Aston Martin in the engine note, that deep growl that has become a signature for the brand. Heritage is not about copying the past, it's about carrying forward the essence of what made the past great, and in this, the Vantage excels. It is also worth considering the role the Vantage plays in Aston Martin's lineup. While the DB models and the flagship DBS cater more toward the grand touring side of the spectrum, offering comfort and long-distance speed, the Vantage is the car for the purist. It's for the person who cares about how a car feels through a corner, how it communicates every nuance of the road surface, how it balances power with poise. It is for those who see driving not as a chore but as an art form. This is why so many enthusiasts gravitate toward the Vantage. It is Aston Martin at its most focused, at its most intimate. It's the brand saying, here is our most athletic self, our most thrilling creation, our sports car distilled. Driving the Vantage is not like driving most cars. The moment you slide behind the wheel, you become acutely aware that you are part of something special. The low-slung driving position gives you that race car-like perspective, your hands fall perfectly onto the steering wheel, and the world outside seems to tilt ever so slightly in your favor. When the engine comes alive, there is that instant sense of anticipation, the sound alone is enough to raise the heartbeat. As you set off, even at low speeds, you feel the tautness of the chassis, the way the car seems to grip the road with confidence. Every input you give, steering, throttle, brake, is met with a direct, immediate response. The car feels alive beneath you, like a thoroughbred eager to run. Push harder, and the Vantage rewards you with balance, agility, and sheer exhilaration. Corners that would challenge lesser cars become opportunities to experience flow, straights become runways to unleash that V8 power, and every drive becomes something you don't just do, you experience it, deeply and emotionally. But what truly sets the Vantage apart is that it doesn't require you to be on the edge of performance to enjoy it. Unlike some sports cars that only make sense when pushed to their absolute limits, the Vantage delivers satisfaction even in everyday situations. Cruising through a city, it feels composed, refined, and comfortable. On the open highway, it devours miles with ease, the engine barely breaking a sweat while you sit cocooned in luxury. On a mountain pass, it becomes a scalpel, precise and sharp, carving through corners with confidence. This versatility means that the Vantage can fit into a variety of lifestyles. It can be your daily driver, your weekend escape, or your track day weapon. Few cars manage to strike such a balance, and fewer still do so with the kind of style and emotion that the Vantage brings. And then there is the intangible element, the one that numbers and statistics can never fully capture. The way people look at the car when you drive by. The conversations it sparks at fuel stations. The sense of occasion every time you walk up to it and see its form waiting for you. This is what owning an Aston Martin Vantage is about. It's about emotion, about being part of a story, about having something in your life that transcends transportation and becomes part of your identity. For many, buying a Vantage is not just about getting a fast car. It's about joining a legacy, owning a piece of Aston Martin's storied history, and indulging in something that is as much art as it is engineering. Thanks for watching.